Okay, let's unpack this. Think for a moment about a Coca-Cola vending machine. Way back in 1982.
Right.
Not just giving you a soda, but actually telling someone, remotely that it was running low.
Mm-hmm.
Or even, get this, a toaster controlled by the internet.
Yeah, the internet toaster. Classic.
Seems a bit ahead of its time, doesn't it? Yet these little sparks, they ignited something massive, a technology that, well, now it touches nearly every aspect of how we live and work.
It's fascinating, isn't it? How's early, almost whimsical examples, they have the core idea that interconnectedness, that's just everywhere now.
Exactly.
It really shows there was this long-held vision, of a more integrated world.
Exactly. And that vision is what we're diving deep into today.
Yeah.
The Internet of Things, or IoT. We've got some really interesting material here that charts its evolution from those, well, quirky beginnings to the huge potential it holds now.
Yeah, looking at the sources, it gives a pretty comprehensive picture. It lays out the timeline, sure, but also digs into the value it brings, the tech that makes it work,
Right.
and looks closely at the impact in key areas like healthcare, agriculture, manufacturing, and, importantly, the challenges too.
So if you're listening and you want to really get a handle on IoT, what it is, why it matters, where it's heading, but maybe without getting totally bogged down in technical jargon.
You're the right place.
Yeah, you are. Our mission today is basically to pull out the key stuff, connect the dots, and give you a clear view of this really transformative technology.
So the big question is, how do we get from, a Coke machine talking online to
Yeah.
to this incredibly complex, far-reaching tech we see today?
Good question. Let's go back to the start. That Carnegie Mellon Coke machine in '82 reporting its stock over ARPANET, which was basically the internet's granddaddy.
Mm-hmm. Surprisingly early.
Right, and around the same time, the internet toaster thing. Now, obviously, these weren't everywhere, but they showed the basic idea, connecting everyday stuff.
And what's notable, I think, is that even then, that core principle, interconnectedness, it was being explored. And it wasn't too long before someone actually put a name to it.
That's right. Peter T. Lewis gets the credit for Internet of Things back in 1985. His idea was about connecting people, processes, and technology. Pretty forward-thinking for the mid-'80s.
It really was. And okay, it took a while for the tech to catch up with the vision, but the 2000s, that's when things really started picking up steam.
Oh, absolutely. 2008 was a huge turning point. That's when the number of connected things actually overtook the number of people on the planet.
Wow.
Yeah, that's really when IoT started going mainstream. Then maybe a year later, 2009, you see consumer devices like Fitbit hitting the market.
Right, bringing it into our personal lives,
Yeah.
health, wellness, that kind of thing.
Exactly. And at the same time, sort of in parallel, the industrial Internet of Things, IoT, that started gaining traction around 2011.
Yeah, that was more focused on, say, sticking sensors in factory machines, optimizing manufacturing, logistics,
Yeah.
even healthcare using automation and predictive analytics.
And then things get even bigger picture. Just a few years after that, 2014, Seoul steps up and becomes the first quote-unquote smart city,
Ah,
using IoT to manage city stuff, traffic, energy, safety. A really large-scale demo of what IoT could do.
and of course, as you get more and more devices connecting, managing them all becomes, well, critical.
Definitely.
That's where cloud platforms like AWS IoT Core, which came along in 2016, became so important. They provided that backbone, the infrastructure for managing devices securely and making sure they could talk to each other at scale.
So we've traced the how, but let's talk about the why. Why should we, as individuals or businesses, really care about this interconnected world? What's the real value here?
That's the key question, isn't it? Let's break it down. For consumers, well, a lot of it comes down to convenience, personalization.
Like smart home stuff.
Exactly. Smart thermostats that learn when you like it warm or cool, your smartwatch tracking your sleep or your steps. It's about making daily life, well, a bit smoother, more tailored to you.
Right. The smart home, the connected car, wearables, all promising to simplify things, make life better somehow. But for businesses, the benefits seem quite different, more operational.
Precisely. For businesses, IoT is all about real-time operational insights. That unlocks things like predictive maintenance.
Okay, explain that a bit more.
So sensors on a machine can pick up tiny changes, vibrations, temperature that suggest it might fail soon. This lets you fix it before it breaks down, avoiding costly downtime.
Ah, okay. Proactive, not reactive.
Exactly. And that leads to big cost savings, more efficient processes, better resource use overall.
And it's not just inside the business, is it? Thinking about like supply chains.
Spot on. IoT sensors can track goods all the way through the supply chain, Gives you amazing visibility. If there's a delay, you know instantly and can react.
Better service then.
Better service delivery, absolutely. And it all feeds into making smarter, data-driven decisions across the board.
It really sounds like IoT is becoming fundamental, like electricity or the internet itself, across loads of industries.
That's a good way to put it. Think about Industry 4.0. That relies on IoT connecting machines, sensors on the factory floor. Makes production more flexible, more cost-effective.
In healthcare, that feels like a sector where the impact could be massive.
Oh, absolutely. Remote patient monitoring, for instance, tracking vital signs for patients at home,
Huge potential there.
and enabling more precise diagnostics with connected medical devices.
Agriculture too, I imagine, transforming farming.
Definitely. IoT helps manage resources more sustainably, optimizing water use, for example, leading to better crop yields through precision farming, tailoring treatments to tiny zones within a field.
And we can't forget cities. We mentioned Seoul, but what else is happening in smart cities?
Well, cities are using IoT for all sorts of things. Smart traffic lights that adapt to flow, street lights that dim when no one's around.
Waste management too.
Yep, sensors in bins saying I'm full makes collections way more efficient. Plus environmental monitoring, air quality, water quality. It's all about making urban life better and hopefully more sustainable.
Okay, this all sounds incredibly powerful. But what's actually under the hood? What are the core technologies making this possible right now?
Good question. Several key technologies are driving this. First up, 5G networks.
Right. Speed and latency?
Exactly. High bandwidth, super low latency. That's crucial for real-time stuff. Think autonomous vehicles needing instant data processing for safety.
Split-second decisions.
Precisely. Or the complex interconnected systems in a smart city. And we're already looking ahead to 5G Advanced or 5.5G for even more capability.
Okay, so 5G handles the fast responsive stuff. What about places where you just can't get a mobile signal, remote areas?
Yeah, that's where satellite connectivity comes in. It's vital for extending IoT reach to those tricky spots.
Yeah.
Rural farms, monitoring pipelines in the wilderness, tracking ships at sea.
Makes sense.
Though it's worth noting satellite can sometimes be, a bit slower or more expensive than ground networks. Trade-offs.
Fair enough. Now, I've heard the term LPWAN, low power wide area network. What's that about?
Right, LPWAN. Technologies like IoT fit here. They're built for massive IoT deployments where devices need to sit power, maybe run for years on a battery, and send data over long distances.
So not for video streaming then?
Definitely not. Think industrial sensors scattered across a huge factory or smart utility meters reporting readings once a day. Small amounts of data, infrequently but reliably over a wide area. Low power is key.
Got it. Low power, long range, useful for specific things. And finally, the elephant in the room, AI. How does artificial intelligence fit in?
Ah, AI. The combination, often called AIoT, AI plus IoT, that's where the real magic happens. You take all that data flowing from the IoT devices.
It's some mountains of data.
Exactly. And you feed it into AI algorithms. That lets you create much smarter, more autonomous systems. We mentioned predictive maintenance earlier. AI makes those predictions much more accurate, learning over time.
Okay.
Or think about traffic optimization in smart cities. AI dynamically adjusting signals based on real-time conditions. Or personalized healthcare, analyzing patient data to tailor treatments.
So it's the brain analyzing the senses provided by IoT.
That's a great analogy. It's about turning data into actionable insights and increasingly automated actions.
Right. Let's zoom in now. Focus on specific sectors. How is IoT playing out in practice? And what are the bumps in the road? Healthcare feels like a huge one, but complex too.
Very complex, yes, but hugely promising. Remote patient monitoring, RPM, that's a big one. Wearables, sensors in the home, collecting vital signs continuously.
Like heart rate, blood pressure.
Exactly. It's incredibly valuable for managing chronic conditions. Could mean fewer hospital visits, earlier interventions. For someone listening, maybe managing a condition for themselves or a relative, that could mean real peace of mind.
Right, absolutely. A game changer, potentially. And continuous glucose monitoring for diabetes.
Yes, another key example.
Yeah.
Devices tracking blood sugar automatically, sending alerts. Takes away the burden of manual logging, gives patients much better control.
What about inside the hospital itself?
Well, IoT helps create smart hospitals, monitoring things like air quality in operating rooms to prevent infections, keeping environments safe.
And not just monitoring patients, right?
Why-
What about emergencies?
Good point. Wearable alert buttons, even automated fall detection, can allow patients or staff to summon help quickly, improves response times.
Okay.
And beyond that, All the data generated is gold for predictive analytics, spotting early signs of illness, predicting disease outbreaks, even optimizing how hospitals use beds and staff.
That sounds like it could really boost preventative care, make the whole system more efficient. What about just finding stuff, like equipment?
Ah, yes. Medical asset tracking. Using IoT tags to know where wheelchairs, IV pumps, defibrillators are in real time. Cuts down searching time, prevents things going missing.
Simple, but probably saves a lot of hassle.
It does. And there's more development too, using IoT for mental health monitoring via biometrics, tracking Parkinson's symptoms to personalized treatments. And of course, it's the backbone for telemedicine, remote consults, reaching underserved areas.
The potential seems enormous. But what are the big roadblocks in healthcare IoT?
Well, a major one is secure data sharing. How do you get critical patient info flowing between different doctors, hospitals, clinics safely? Protecting privacy while ensuring access is a massive ongoing challenge. Needs really robust solutions.
Yeah, that data security and privacy piece feels crucial everywhere, but especially here. Okay, let's switch gears. Agriculture. Lots of buzz about precision farming, but what are the real-world hurdles for farmers trying to use this tech?
Well, the sources we looked at highlight a few key things. First, just the technical complexity.
Like it's not plug and play.
Often not, no. Setting up sensors, networks, analyzing the data. It can require specialized knowledge that many farmers just don't have. They might need outside help, which costs money.
So an expertise gap. What about just getting online in the first place? Rural broadband issues.
That's a huge one. Connectivity. You need reliable internet for these systems to work, to send that sensor data back. And in many rural areas, that's still a major challenge.
Okay, so connectivity is barrier number 2. What else?
Cost. The initial investment for the sensors, the gateways, the software platforms, plus ongoing maintenance, it can be a lot, especially for smaller farms. Tough to justify sometimes.
Hard to see the immediate ROI, maybe.
Exactly. And then there's managing the data itself. You get tons of it.
Yeah.
Figuring out how to store it, analyze it effectively, keep it secure. That takes sophisticated tools and skills.
More complexity.
Right. Plus, getting new IoT kit to work smoothly with existing tractors or irrigation systems. Compatibility can be an issue. And finally, you've got organizational hurdles. Maybe management isn't fully bought in. And just environmental factors like unpredictable weather messing with sensors.
Wow. So huge potential, but also significant practical challenges. It really makes you think there must be a need for simpler, cheaper, more rugged solutions to make this work for more farmers.
Absolutely. Innovation in usability and cost effectiveness is key there. Now, what about manufacturing? Industry. This is where that smart factory idea really lands. How's IoT changing things there?
Automation seems central, right? Robots and sensors talking.
Totally. IoT sensors, cameras, robots often linked with AI and fast networks like 5G, they're enabling super automated processes, assembly, packing, even moving materials around. More efficient, fewer errors.
And predictive maintenance comes up again here, I assume?
Oh, big time. Constantly monitoring machines for those early warning signs of failure. Think about sensors on a production line motor, tracking vibration and heat. AI analyzes those patterns, flags up that a bearing might fail next week.
So you schedule the fix during planned downtime.
Exactly, instead of a costly emergency shutdown. Huge savings. It's about moving from fix it when it breaks to fix it before it breaks.
And supply chains, how does IoT help manufacturers there?
It gives them end-to-end visibility, tracking raw materials coming in, monitoring work in progress, tracking finished goods going out, all in real time.
So you can react faster to problems.
Much faster. If a shipment of parts is delayed, you know immediately and can adjust production plans. It optimizes logistics. Quality control also gets a boost tracking components. Monitoring conditions during production helps catch defects early.
Sounds like it builds more resilient, efficient operations overall.
It does. Remote monitoring and control is another big piece. Supervising production lines, checking safety conditions, maybe monitoring air quality or security cameras from anywhere.
And the data generated?
Feeds into AI for optimizing everything. Production schedules, energy use, even how staff are deployed, all aimed at cutting costs and boosting productivity. Like we said, 5G really unlocks the advanced stuff, complex robotics, digital twins.
Digital twins, virtual copies.
Yeah, virtual replicas of machines or even entire production lines. You can test changes, simulate scenarios, optimize processes offline before you implement them in the real world. Plus, using augmented reality for technician training or maintenance guidance.
That level of insight and control is pretty amazing. It makes you wonder, like, how could these real-time insights spark totally new products or even new business models for manufacturers?
That's a really sharp point. And it's definitely where a lot of future innovation is expected, moving beyond just efficiency gains to actual business transformation.
Okay, so we've covered the past, the present applications, the impact. What about the horizon? What does the future hold for IoT? Any big trends or predictions?
Well, the numbers are pretty staggering. Forecasts suggest we could see over 40 billion connected IoT devices by 2030.
40 billion.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that growth is going to be fueled by 5G, rolling out further, plus other connectivity improvements. It's kind of mind-boggling, that level of interconnectedness. Makes you think about how it'll change just everyday life.
It really does. And AI's role is just going to get bigger, presumably.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
AI will be even more tightly woven into IoT, making systems smarter, more autonomous, helping tackle those big challenges like data privacy through new techniques. We'll likely see more use of those digital twins we mentioned.
For simulation optimization.
Right. And maybe more advanced ways for us to interact with these systems. Better voice control, maybe gestures, longer term, perhaps even brain-computer interfaces, though that's still pretty far out.
Feels like we're really on the cusp of some major shifts. And I guess IoT will just keep refining its impact in manufacturing, healthcare, agriculture, cities.
Yeah. Expect continued optimization there,
Yeah.
driving efficiency, sustainability, smarter use of resources. But, and this is important, as IoT becomes even more widespread, those challenges we talked about, making different systems work together smoothly, ensuring security, protecting privacy, they become even more critical. Constant focus needed there.
So let's try and synthesize this. We've seen IoT grow from, these quirky early experiments into a genuinely powerful force changing industries and daily life.
Mm-hmm.
Its value comes from automation, efficiency boosts, real-time data, creating more personalized experiences, and looking ahead with better connectivity, smarter AI, the potential just seems to keep growing.
It does. And what's really interesting to mull over is the long-term societal shift. We get all this convenience, incredible insights from data.
But there's a flip side.
There is. Finding that balance between the benefits and the risks,
Mm-hmm.
privacy, security, maybe even over-reliance. It's something we all need to think about. It really makes you question your own relationship with this tech as it weaves itself deeper into our lives.
Absolutely. A world full of potential, but one requiring careful navigation. For everyone listening, if any specific area grabbed you today, maybe the healthcare advances, the agricultural changes, the factory revolution, I'd really encourage you to dig a bit deeper on your own.
Yeah.
This whole world of interconnected things, it's huge, it's evolving fast, and there's always more to learn.